Quazi here, and in this video, I want to share with you a concept called redirecting reality, in which we're going to examine the power of questions in redirecting you to the lifeline that you desire and to manifest the life that you want through understanding the right questions to ask yourself. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce that I'm doing a free giveaway of my book, Life Mastery. If you want to win this in the ebook format, just comment Life Mastery down below, and at the end of the week, we're going to pick one winner to get this book for free in the ebook format. It's around $12 on Amazon, but you can get it for completely free if you just comment Life Mastery down below. Also, wait till the end of the day today to hear the winner, which will be announced in the community posts, so just watch out for that later today. Also, I'm excited to announce that the Reality Mastery program is still open for enrollment in July. We're completely booked for June, and we're still open for July, so if you're interested, make sure you apply for your free consult, and to understand how to apply for the free consult, wait till the end of the video for the announcement on that. Now, in this video, as you can tell, I'm back in my favorite classroom, and I'm going to be sharing with you something really powerful that I've been pondering lately, and I've learned about it a long time ago, which is questions, and the questions that we ask ourselves. Now, a long time ago, after reading a book called Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss, I found out that the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions that you ask. And only recently has this started clicking for me. Now, recently I realized that the whole process of thinking itself is just a process of asking questions and answering these questions. Like, think about your whole thinking process. Whenever you're thinking, you're asking yourself a question and then you're answering this question afterwards. So the whole thought process is just question answer. Even if you're asking yourself if this is true right now, you're literally asking yourself, is this true what Quazi said? Is this true? And then you're answering to yourself, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, yes or no. So essentially, this whole process is just a process of question and answer that's going on in your head. Now, in order to really understand how this can create reality, we at least know that our thoughts have the power of influencing our reality. So the whole question becomes, how can we control our thoughts? And for a long time, I had trouble with this. It's just, how are we supposed to control our thoughts? If I ask you to not think about a monkey, then all you're going to do is think about monkeys. Try not to think about a pink elephant right now. All you're going to do is think about a pink elephant. So at least we know that if we tell ourselves not to think about something, that's all we can think about. And that's one way in which you can influence your thinking process. But another more powerful way to think about something that you actually want to think about is through asking the right questions. Now, you'll see that most of the time people ask certain questions, and these questions that they're asking are giving them certain answers, which then subsequently shapes their reality, because these are the predominant thoughts that they have in their day-to-day lives. Everything that you're experiencing right now is a direct reflection of how you've been living your life up until this point, what attitudes you've had, what emotions you had, what thoughts you had. All of these are influencing your reality on a day-to-day basis. So now we understand that reality works with this so-called delay factor. And the only reason why you can't instantly manifest something is because the intention energy isn't powerful enough to influence the reality right now. But through thinking, being, doing, having, etc., all of these practices, by all these visualization, all of these things that you're doing, what you're doing is setting the future frame for when it can possibly manifest. So now, in a book called Transurfing Reality, if you're familiar with that, what's happening is Vadim Zeland, the author of this book, is talking about quantum realities, which means that essentially you don't really need to create a reality, rather it exists in this very moment. So there are many different realities and very many different lifelines that exist. So a lifeline is kind of like a parallel reality, but rather it leads to a particular reality where your favorable end result exists. So now we must understand how we can redirect our thought processes so we can correspond to these lifelines that are desirable to us. And in understanding that, we need to understand the power of questions. So first of all, I want you to understand that the quality of the life that you're living right now directly is correlated to the quality of questions that you're asking on a day-to-day basis. Another thing I want you to understand is that thoughts have the power to create your reality. In this book called Reality Transurfing, there is the idea of an outer intention. And if you don't know what that is, I encourage you to check out this video up here, which again talks about the difference between inner intention and outer intention. But in short, to really explain this idea to you, inner intention is what is known as your personal intention. It is whatever you choose to do, what action you choose to take to influence your reality. Outer intention is the divine intention, that which makes reality manifest as even though you don't do anything, you don't have to take action for it. It just happens. It's the miraculous force, or miraculous power rather, that made Jesus walk on water. And outer intention arises as a result of complete certainty in your decision to have. If inner intention is defined as the resoluteness in your decision to act, outer intention is defined as the resoluteness in your decision to have something. There is just complete certainty and conviction that you are going to have this very thing that you want. So as a result of this resoluteness in your decision, reality starts to manifest because it just says, oh, this is what's happening and this is what he believes. And there is no room for belief. Wherever there is faith or belief, there is always going to be room for doubt. So now you might be asking, how does this relate to asking questions? Essentially, whatever predominant thoughts you keep up, you're going to be influencing your mind. How outer intention is activated is through the alignment of your mind and your heart. Whenever there is unity between your mind and your heart, what happens is this powerful intention is born. So what that really means is that when you have a thought, if you can feel the corresponding feeling, and the more intensely you have this feeling and the more alignment there is in the two, the greater the probability of outer intention working for you. Now, we don't really see when outer intention works for us until our goal is manifested. The surefire way of knowing that outer intention is working is seeing your goals manifest exactly as you want in physical reality. That is the ultimate indicator that outer intention has worked and is working in your favor in whatever you're doing. Really, it is just about understanding how we can encourage our thought processes. Because if you think about the heart, it's very innocent. The heart just believes anything the mind tells it. The mind is the gateway to the heart. So influencing your thoughts becomes very, very important. Now, most people believe that, the heart is more important than the mind, and the mind is less important. And some people believe, no, the mind is more important. It's important to be logical, etc., etc. Neither one is more important than the other. You need both to manifest your goals. You can't use one or the other. It's kind of like, having a pencil and not an eraser. Both are important because what if you make mistakes? Or maybe I could think of a better example, but that's the one that came off the top of my head. So essentially, understanding questioning and the questions that we ask ourselves on a day-to-day basis is going to help us control this thought process and channel it in a way that actually gets us towards our goals. Now, to really give you an example and a taste of what I really mean by this, I want to share with you a couple of examples. So, first of all, let's consider a relationship. Two people are in a relationship and maybe they're going through an argument. Maybe sometimes me and my girlfriend get into an argument. And then I ask, or she asks, how come you always treat me this way? Why do you always do this to me? How come you're always like this to me? Blah, blah, blah. That is a lower level question. This question is a very low quality question because it is not solution oriented. It is not helping this relationship get to its solution. An upgraded question from this would be, how can we get through this? We realize we're getting through this and we've made the decision to move forward. You see how the decision is important here? The resoluteness in your decision to have, which is outer intention, which is giving rise to this certainty. Once someone has this certainty, they can move forward and ask questions like, how do we move forward? That how question. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about when you can actually ask how and when you should ask how, the right time to ask how. So for now, just understand that the levels of questions that you ask are twofold. There's a lower level question that moves you away from your goals, and a higher level question that actually moves you towards your goal. So it exists in this dichotomy. Now, in thinking about any other aspect of life, you might be often getting to a point where it's like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? You know, how does the same thing keep happening to me over and over? And if this question isn't oriented to getting you to the solution, it is not a high-level question. A high-level question is the only question that is solution-oriented. If you keep asking questions like, how come you always do this to me? You know, why are you such a shitty partner to me? You know, why are you like this? Blah, blah, blah. If you ask questions like that, then you're going to get more and more of this in your reality, because now you're assuming this to be true, and the mirror of reality just reflects this, right? So there is no solution-oriented, so the effect is twofold. First of all, you keep propagating the same reality over and over again. Second of all, you're not solution-oriented, so you're just looking for more and more problems, and you're creating more and more problems, because now you're asking a question like, okay, well, how come you always do this to me? What do you think the answer to this is? Whatever the answer to that question is, it's going to be affirming that same reality. I do this to you because I'm this. I do this to you because I am that. Whenever you keep saying this, you keep propagating this, more and more of the problem into reality. What we want to do is propagate the solution into reality. So when you ask questions like, how can we move forward? Then it gets into a solution-oriented mindset. Then more and more of solutions come into play, and you'll actually see answers visible to you. Whatever question you ask, you'll inevitably receive the answers to it. Ask and ye shall answer. I think the saying goes like that. But essentially, know that there's always going to be two levels of questions that you ask. The lower level question is always focused on propagating the problem over and over in reality. And as a result of assuming that the problem exists and the problem will be propagated and the problem is just, you know, a given, and there is no sort of awareness of the solution, then this lower level question will just create more problems. Once you start focusing on solution-oriented questions where you're focused on saying or asking, how can we move forward from this? How can we do that? How can we get this? You know, how can we get through this? Then your relationship actually starts being solved, because now the answers are like, oh, well, we can do that, we can do this, you know, we can try therapy, we can try blah, blah, blah. And then you actually start thinking of answers that are solution-oriented and thus propagate the solution-oriented reality into existence. And this is exactly how you redirect your thought process every single day. Now, in looking at another example, let's say in the case of, you know, bad things happening to you, I found that a lot. And I would always ask myself, why do these bad things keep happening to me? What am I doing wrong? Blah, blah, blah. And I saw that whenever I was asking these questions, I was affirming that reality, that bad things do happen to me. And my thought process was in complete assumption that, oh, bad things do happen to me. Let's just find out why these happen. You know, bad things do happen, let's find out why these happen. Not the higher level question, which is a solution-oriented question, which is, how can I solve this? How can I move forward from this? That is the higher level question that assumes the solution is existent. At the very least you can at least believe that the solution exists by asking, how can I move forward? That is the first step you can take in manifesting a reality that is more desirable to you. See what I mean? So understand that there are two levels of questions. One is problem-oriented, one is solution-oriented. Whichever question you ask is going to direct the nature of your thoughts. When the nature of your thoughts are directed, you move to a particular lifeline, because the very thought that you have gives rise to feelings in your heart. So remember that the mind is the gateway to the heart. If you can amplify these feelings more and more and intensify them consciously, then you can get into the feeling states that align with that corresponding reality that you want to manifest. Now, going back to that concept of outer intention, what happens is whenever outer intention is born, you shift into the corresponding lifelines that the feeling induces. So if the feeling is a positive feeling, a desirable feeling, a feeling in which your reality, your ideal reality exists, then you'll shift to that ideal reality. Outer intention causes this shift. Inner intention tries to change this reality instead of shifting into a different one. Do you see what I mean? I hope this is making sense. I know this is a lot of esoteric concepts, but really what I want you to get out of this video is a full understanding that the exact questions that you're asking yourself on a day-to-day basis, they're either problem-oriented or solution-oriented. whatever question you ask is determining the nature of your thoughts. If you can redirect your questions, you can redirect your thoughts. So it is all a matter of consciously asking yourself these questions. Whenever you feel unconscious and you see that you're asking these questions that are problem-oriented, just wake up and ask yourself solution-oriented questions. Now, to really end this video, I want to share with you a powerful exercise that helped me shift my questioning process. And this is just a two-step process, which is very simple. So make sure you do this because this is potentially life-changing. And here's the exercise. So what I want you to do, step one, is go through your day and live in complete consciousness. Really just become very conscious of every single thought and every single question that you're asking yourself in this thought process. And what I want you to do is throughout maybe the next day, tomorrow or today, just notice what questions you're asking yourself and 5 predominant questions that keep repeating themselves over and over again. So you can do this over a period of a day or a period of a week. It's most effective if you do this for a period of a week because then you really notice the patterns of your thoughts. And by noticing the patterns of your thoughts, you'll understand why you are experiencing this reality right now and how you can shift to a different reality. Really, it's as simple as that. So find out 5 predominant questions that you ask yourself, questions that keep repeating themselves over and over again. And the only way to find that out is notice 5 predominant thoughts that you have. And then, after you find those, write them down in a moleskin notebook or have a notebook that you carry around with you. Write them down in the notebook. And what you want to do is in step 2, reframe these questions and do an upgrade to these questions. So notice that they are actually problem-oriented. And if they aren't problem-oriented, then fantastic, kudos to you, you're on the right path. So if they are problem-oriented, upgrade them to become more solution-oriented. Take each and every one of these 5 questions, give them an upgrade. So for example, if my question is, why do bad things keep happening to me? Upgrade, how can I solve these bad things? Like anytime someone ever quit any bad habit, the change occurred in an instant. Really think about that. People who've been smoking or have been eating unconsciously and eating, have a habit of eating unhealthy food, junk food, and have been gaining a lot of weight and not been exercising, they've been repeating this pattern over and over again until they hit their emotional threshold. Once you hit that emotional threshold, what happens is you make that decision and you say, no, I'm going to change. This can't go on any longer. And once you hit that emotional threshold, a decision has been made. And now this decision is, I'm going to change. After you make this decision, you say, how am I going to change? So then, only then you focus on the how. And then in the next video, we're going to get very detailed on when you should ask the how. So make sure you stick around for that as well. So with that, I want to conclude this video. And to conclude this video, I want to leave you with this exercise, which is again to recap the 2-step exercise. First of all, go on for a period of 1 day to 7 days and notice these thoughts that you're having and the questions that you're asking yourself every single day. Like what sort of questions are predominant in your life? Write down these 5 questions in some notebook or maybe a piece of paper, whatever it is, and do an upgrade on them. So step 2, do an upgrade on them to go from problem-oriented to solution-oriented questions. By doing this very simple exercise, you are literally going to redirect your thoughts, and as a result, you're going to redirect the reality that you experience and shift into that parallel reality where your goals exist and where solutions to all of your problems exist. So with that, conclude this video, and I sincerely hope this helped. If you like this kind of content, make sure you leave me a comment on what you thought of this if you have any questions, and also subscribe and hit the bell if you're new to this. If you don't hit the bell, you don't get notified of any new video put out, believe it or not. So make sure you hit the bell, and I hope I see you in the next videos that are coming up. And also, I'm super excited to announce that I'm growing a massive Facebook group where we share really great value, and also we have a great community of great members. So make sure you take advantage of this and click on the link in the description below to join. Also, I'm excited to announce that the Reality Mastery Program is open for enrollment. And if you didn't know what the Reality Mastery Program was, it's essentially based around the most powerful paradigm of manifestation. See, what I found in my personal life was that whenever I manifested something that I wanted, it was all a result of who I became. When I manifested a 4.0 GPA in school, I became the 4.0 GPA Quazi. When I manifested my dream body, I became the athletic and fit Quazi. When I manifested my dream partner, I became the attractive version of Quazi. So all of these things are 100% possible for you as well, because I've helped my clients and I'm continually helping my clients shift into their ideal selves and break free from this groundhog pattern that keeps going on and on in their daily lives. So if you want to take advantage of this, make sure you sign up for the free consult down below, and I hope I see you there. And with that, I conclude this video. Till next time, peace.